This is a question that I get asked a lot, and that is, how can slot machines be random, but also have a payback percentage and be controlled? So in today's video, I'm not just going to explain it, but rather we're going to do a really fun demonstration. And hopefully through this demonstration, it kind of explains a little bit better, and you guys can see exactly how slot machines work. Welcome back everybody to the Cowboy Slot Channel. My name is Brantley. I'm a slot technician, currently working in the industry and also having worked with a lot of different game makers and manufacturers in the past, as well as various casinos. And on this channel, I'm here to bring you guys tips and things that you can do to better your slot play, better your experience at the casino, and start walking away a winner. So in today's video, we're going to be doing something kind of fun. I'm going to be using an example that we've used in the past on this channel, but we've never actually shown a really good example. So I have my video editor, Ethan, who is here with me today, and he actually doesn't really know about this experiment at all. So it's going to be completely blind to him, completely sight unseen. And we're going to put this together and we're going to see if he can better understand it, and hopefully you can better understand it. So let's get started. So for today's experiment, we get asked all the time, how can a slot machine be random but also be programmed at the same time? And are slot machines rigged? We're going to go over a quick example here, and Ethan actually doesn't know what we're about to do, so this is pretty much a blind reaction for Ethan. So we have here 3 decks of standard playing cards. They're all a standard 52 deck of cards. We've got 3 of them here. Now all 3 of these represent a 3-reel slot machine. So there's going to be 1 deck for every single reel on this slot machine that we are going to pretend exists for today's example. But before we do that, let's do a quick little experiment here. So Ethan, I'm going to shuffle this deck of cards.
Absolutely.
Now, as I'm shuffling this deck of cards, if I were to ask you to pick a card, would you know what that card is going to be?
No, not at all. It's completely random to my eyes. I can't see and I don't know what's going on because it's completely shuffled.
So if I'm sitting here shuffling this deck of cards, just continually shuffling them, do you think I know what it's going to be?
No, not at all.
Guess a card.
9 of spades.
Is that a 9 of spades?
Absolutely
okay.
not.
So you would say that that's a random pick,
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that aspect is random. Now essentially what Ethan just did is, essentially when a player pushes that spin button, the outcome is random. The player doesn't know what it's going to be, neither does the slot machine until that button is pressed. But the control aspect, and we're going to dive a little deeper into that as well here in this video, is what does it pick from? So we're going to get into that in a future topic, but for now, let's continue on with our experiment. So let's start with the basics from the very beginning. In this example, I'm going to be the slot machine, essentially. I'm going to be the random number generator. Now, on a traditional slot machine, you have 22 physical possible stops. We're just going to use a regular 3-reel slot machine. So there's 22 physical positions on this reel, but as you notice, there's 52 cards in a deck. And that's pretty much how a slot machine is. Is it rigged? No, but it is weighted. Now we could go into the definition of what rigged means, but it's not rigged, it's weighted. What that means is the player only sees that there's 22 options, but there's actually a lot more options on the virtual pay table for the random number generator to pick from. So there's that aspect. Now, let's move on with our experiment. So in this example, the slot machine is going to be equally weighted on all 3 reels. There's going to be 52, 52, and 52. So there's 52 options for each of those reel stops on each of those reels. Now, if I was the slot machine, what I'm going to be doing is the whole time, I'm going to be sitting here shuffling these possible options. Every single time that the slot machine is turned on, whether there is a player there or not, as soon as the machine gets plugged in and running, all it's doing is the random number generator is constantly cycling through these cards, these options. Now, obviously, I only have 2 hands, so I can't shuffle every single deck. And by the way, a computer, a slot machine, would be doing this insanely ultra fast. So this is pretty much a slowed down, very simple example of how a slot machine works, and we're going to go through that. So I'm the slot machine. I'm just sitting here shuffling through all my possible options. That's all I'm doing. Now, player walks up, which is going to be Ethan, and Ethan's going to put in some money into the machine. Am I going to stop shuffling? No, I'm going to keep on shuffling. I'm going to keep doing this until he pushes the spin button. Now, Ethan, what I'd like for you to do is just at any point at all, you tell me to stop, and I'm going to draw 3 cards. Now, what we're also going to do is we're going to assign value to the cards, and we're going to put the values up on the screen so you guys can kind of see a more realistic picture of what that is. So we're going to pretend that these other 2 decks are shuffling while I'm doing this. I'll shuffle them up throughout this example as we go along, but for now, because I only have 2 hands, we're going to pretend that those are shuffling. So Ethan, go ahead and tell me to stop.
Alrighty, let's stop it right there.
All right. So Ethan's pushed the spin button. At that exact point, the random number generator is going to throw out reel 1, reel 2, reel 3. Now, we're going to assign value to these cards. We're going to say that any ace, no matter what suit, any ace is going to be our triple diamond symbol. So if you get ace, 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 that would represent 3 triple diamonds. We're going to say that our kings are going to be our 7s. And we're going to say that the queens are going to be triple bar, and the jacks are going to be double bar. The 10 is going to be a single bar in this example. Every other card is a blank. So what do we have here? We have a triple diamond, a blank, and a blank. That was the outcome. So since I can't shuffle all 3 decks at once, I'm going to give this one a nice shuffle just so it'll be shuffled for the next time that you tell me to stop. But here's some important things to note. Of course, they're brand new cards, so here's some important things to note. This is all that a slot machine is. It's actually very simple. But the thing is it random? Yes, it is. It's random in the aspect that you, the player, and me, the machine, does not know what's coming next. That's the random aspect. The program aspect of it is what does it get to pick from? Now here's the thing, the casino cannot just decide that they want to remove certain symbols. That's not possible to do in a slot machine's programming. All right, we got a reshuffle here. So again, Ethan pushed the spin button, he got dealt, and now we're right back, and I'm just gonna keep shuffling and keep going. So Ethan, go ahead and tell me to stop whenever.
Let's stop.
All right, so let's see what we got. Reel 1, blank. Reel 2, that would be a single bar. And reel 3, blank. So essentially, that is exactly how a slot machine works. This is the program aspect. The random aspect is you, the player, do not know what's coming next, and neither does the machine. The other thing that's important to note is you see all of those cards are going right back into their respective decks. They don't get removed or anything like that. So they're all going right back into the deck to be shuffled again. Here's where the house edge comes into play. And this is also why the casino does not need to mess with or manipulate the slot machines, because there's a lot more possibilities for blanks in here. A lot more. It's going to be very hard to pull 3 of those aces. Now, Ethan, is it possible to pull 3 aces?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just very difficult.
Oh yeah, but maybe it would say near impossible, but it's not. It can happen, absolutely.
Absolutely, and it could happen back to back too.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people, when they talk about are slot machines rigged, so the definition of rigged is essentially like, this is what would be a appropriate definition of rigged. Mm-hmm. If I tell you that you are going to be guaranteed to get it, and then I stack the deck against you, mm-hmm. and you don't get it, that would be a rig, because I told you, yes, you're absolutely 100% going to get it guaranteed no matter what. And then, oh, I tricked you. Mm-hmm. That's what a rig is. Is it rigged? No, it's just weighted. It is weighted in a way that there's more blanks than there are larger symbols. So Ethan, go ahead. You know, again, I'm sitting here shuffling. It's hard to keep on going, but sitting here shuffling. So go ahead, just tell me to stop one more time.
Stop.
All right. I did a last minute cut on that reel too. All right, so we got a blank, we got a blank, and we got a blank. So didn't win on that one. But as you can see, there is a lot more possibilities for blanks than there are for anything. So obviously, now we're working with a really, really simple, really basic, straightforward game. This game would actually, like if this was a legitimate slot machine with 22 physical positions and only 52 options on each reel, would actually be considered a pretty good slot machine. It would actually be considered pretty low in volatility. But as you can see, he's still losing on it because, again, there still are more blank options than there are winning combinations, and that's how slot machines are built, essentially. So, Ethan, let's talk about, since we mentioned volatility, let's talk a little bit about volatility. So, on a higher volatile game, essentially, these decks would be much higher, much taller. Doesn't matter what the payback percentage is. The payback percentage is something completely different. You can have a low payback percentage or a high payback percentage on a game like this, or a low or a high payback percentage on a game that's higher in volatility. But if we were to use this example as a higher volatile game, there's going to be a lot more cards to choose from. These stacks are going to be a lot higher, but there's still only going to be those 4 aces in each deck. So that's kind of what a higher volatile game is there's a lot more options. There's a lot more options for blanks. There's a lot more options for symbols. Maybe reels are bigger. There's a lot going on in those higher volatile games. So obviously this is a very, very simple and straightforward game here. Now let's talk about payback percentage, because we mentioned payback percentage a little bit. So let's talk about payback percentage for a minute. Now, a lot of people think that the casino can choose to go in and just remove certain symbols, or I've even heard some people say like, oh, the casino can remove bonuses. It's not possible to do on a slot machine. But if the payback percentage were to be adjusted, it would have to be a preset option that the slot machine already had in its program. So slot machines usually have between 3 to 5 settings for payback percentage. And essentially what that does for payback percentage, let's just take one of these reels for example. So let's say we wanted to raise the payback percentage. So if we wanted to raise the payback percentage, essentially in the programming stage of building the slot machine, they would build a pay table that would have less of the blanks, or they would replace some blanks with maybe some single bars. So maybe we take this 2 and we're going to replace it with a 10 to represent a single bar. That would make it a higher payback percentage. And the opposite is true. If we wanted to lower the payback percentage, as a programmer, what we would do is we would take some of these aces and we would take them out, or essentially replace them with a king or a queen. But the important thing is that at least there has to still be a possible chance to hit that top line. So you can't take the aces out completely. They still have to be in there. There might not just be as many of them. So that's exactly how the payback percentage aspect would work. But as you can tell, that's going to take a very, very long time. You know, we're going to be sitting here for a while doing this until you get 3 aces, and you might not ever get 3 aces. Or you could get 3 aces on this next one. So I'm gonna shuffle these up one more time, and then we're gonna we'll do a couple more polls. But Ethan, what questions do you have for me?
Obviously, like with payback percentage, there always has to be that combo in it. So like if you're talking maybe about like, I don't know, let's say like megabucks. In there must only be 3 symbols most likely. So that if we were talking about in a deck of cards, there would only be 1 ace in each deck of cards.
So let's talk about megabucks, because megabucks is a very, very high in volatility game. Now, when we talk about volatility, you've got that giant progressive prize, but your bet amount is far from that giant progressive prize. We can also look at games like Dragon Link that have that really big, huge grand compared to a relatively small bet. So essentially, if we wanted to make this game that we're playing here, if we wanted to make this megabucks, obviously these decks would be much bigger. They would be much higher. We're talking instead of 52, there might be 52,000 cards. And out of those 52,000, there might only be 1 single ace in each of those decks. That's why it's so hard to get. And that's, you know, again, that higher volatility factor. Now, that has nothing to do with payback percentage. You know, you could have a megabucks machine that's set to 99% payback, but the problem is those, you know, the theoretical deck of cards is so incredibly large, and there's still only 1 possible combination for it. So, is it rigged? No, it's not rigged because it's still possible. If it was rigged, it wouldn't be possible, but it is still possible. It's just very, very, very difficult to get. So, you know, a lot of people really confuse rigged and weighted. A slot machine is weighted by design. So again, we have 22 possible stops, but there's 52 decks or 52 cards inside of each deck. So that is weighted. Now, most slot machines don't have equal weights on each reels either. So we can look at a game like Buffalo, for example. So now we've got 5 decks for a Buffalo game, but it might look like this, where one deck is this high, one deck is this high, one deck is really high, and then another one is super high. That's why on a lot of those games you get a lot of teases, because again, you might have like that first deck might be really, really, really small. So you always have that coin dropping. That first one, you're like, oh, I got a coin. Oh, I got a coin. But then that third reel, the deck is much bigger. It's much, much taller. So it's a lot harder. So that's why, that's exactly how slot machines are built. They're just weighted. So let's shuffle these up again, and I'll have you pull a card. I want you to win at least one combination here, Ethan. This is a triple diamond. we have a pretty good machine here.
Yeah, I'm still not winning.
You know, this, technically speaking, guys, if you want to really get into the math of the game, if you were to have a slot machine with an equal weight of 52, 52, 52, that would actually be a very good slot machine. Mathematically speaking, that would be very, very much in a player's favor. So, but even so, it's still difficult.
Oh yeah.
So you just tell me to stop whenever, Ethan. I'm
absolutely
going through here trying to shuffle them up.
Stop.
All right. There. So let's see. First reel. Oh, it's a blank. Okay.
Great.
Oh, okay. You got that was our triple bar.
Yeah.
And a triple diamond. So triple bar and triple diamond. Now, on the game of triple diamond, you would actually get some credits back for that. So, you know, you're betting 2, you might ding, 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 you get 4 credits for that. So it's technically a little win.
A little bit. It's not a little bit, though.
A little bit of a win.
It's a win.
But, you know, the biggest thing is just this is exactly how a slot machine actually functions. Obviously, we're doing a very, very small example here, but this is exactly how a slot machine essentially works, is just it's weighted. Everything is weighted on a slot machine. That does not make it rigged. Again, rigged means there's not a possibility. Weighted means that there is a possibility, it's just very, very difficult. And you understand that it's very, very difficult. So, and you know, a slot machine, obviously, we're doing this example with 3 reels, 3 decks of cards, but a slot machine is going to be essentially running through these combinations constantly. Slot machines, they don't go idle. They don't go hot or cold. Every single pull is, the slot machine doesn't change. It's actually very simple technology. So as you see here, like, if I was a slot machine, all I'm doing is just randomizing until you hit that button. That's it. So, Ethan, you just tell me to stop whenever. You can just surprise me anytime. See if you can get lucky.
Find my time, and I'm going to make it not get rigged. That wouldn't work. Would you say, though, like in an interesting thought, would you say that like people saying like if you go at this time of day is trying to rig it because it's saying like this has to work and then it never does kind of thing?
So, you know, here's the thing. The slot machine never cares.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's funny because people laugh about it all the time, and I tell people, I'm like, really, the slot machine doesn't care about you. It doesn't care how much money you're putting into it. It doesn't care what time of day it is. It doesn't care where the moon is in the sky. It doesn't care whether the buffet is open or anything like that. It's a very simple mathematic device, and all it's doing is it's just doing the same robotic task over and over and over again. The big thing with that really boils down to confirmation bias. You know, you have people that say, oh, I always win when I go at 3 p.m. Well, you don't always win when you go at 3 p.m. You just think you do, because if that was a statistical fact, you would be a millionaire, and why aren't you playing megabucks at that point? So, so yeah, it comes down to confirmation bias. Or when people say things like, oh, well, the machines always hit at a certain time. It's like, you're not omnipresent. You can't see the entire casino floor. You can't see, you know, you're not in the casino 24/7, 365. You can't visibly see what all is going on in the operation. The slot machine is very simple. This is exactly how it works. In every specification, this is exactly how a slot machine works. It doesn't care about anything. It just sits here and it randomizes. That's it. So you can go ahead and tell me to stop whenever.
We'll stop it there.
All right. So hopefully you can get a winner. Well, I guess
Hopefully.
technically
I mean,
you did
a
get
little bit.
blank, blank, blank. 3 blanks.
Like on a slot machine, does fast stopping change anything at all?
Okay, so let's talk about fast stopping. So what exactly happens when a player fast stops the game? That's actually really good. So in this example, we have been pulling it. So player hits the spin button. And we've been using our traditional slot machine here. Player hits the spin button. The random number generator goes reel 1, reel 2, reel 3. That is how a traditional slot machine works. On a game where you can fast stop it, in order for that feature to work, the random number generator, as soon as you hit the button, it has to decide all 3 stops at once. So that's how fast stopping works. So now the random number generator, as soon as you hit the play button, whether you fast stop it or not, it already has to decide. It already has to know these are my 3 picks. And then if the game is playing out naturally, it's dropping them one by one. But if player decides to fast stop it, it just goes, there they are. This is also why fast stopping does not technically work. It does not technically change anything. I mix those up. It does not technically change anything because the thing is as soon as you hit the spin button on any fast stop game, the random number generator already has the decision. It's already made its decision. So if you let that first reel drop and then you say, oh, I'm going to catch the bonus, and you hit that stop button, it's not going to pull anything different. It's going to give you what it already decided on. So that's exactly how fast stopping works. Essentially, with fast stopping, all you're doing is speeding up the result that's already been decided. If you decide not to fast stop and you decide to let it play out naturally, your result's still going to be the exact same, whether you decided to fast stop it or not. All right, so let's play this a little bit more because I want to see you get a winning combination.
Right? I want to win.
Now again, I only have 2 hands. I can't shuffle all these decks, but if I were a slot machine, I would be doing all of this insanely fast, insanely fast on all three options. Now, there is only one random number generator on a slot machine, and it's doing all of the work all of the time. So there's not a separate random number generator for each reel or anything like that. It's one random number generator just doing all of this monotonous work all the time. But really, when you think about it, the technology of a slot machine is actually pretty basic and simple.
Oh yeah.
All it is a randomizer. That's it.
Yeah.
So go ahead, just tell me to stop whenever.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess a good way to think about it too is like maybe thinking about like a slot, like a, I don't know, like a card shuffler that's just putting the deck in, shuffling it, taking it out, and putting in the next one kind of
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's stop it right there.
All right. All right, stop it. Reel 1. Oh, triple diamond.
Triple diamond.
Blank. And then the jack was our
bar?
double bar.
Was it the double bar? The king was the 7. It was king was 7. Because aces is
king was 7, queen was triple bar, so we got a double bar. So you get paid a little bit here, ding, 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 ding.
Ooh,
we'll just say 4 credits because it's triple diamond game, so you get paid for the triple diamond. But hey, you got 1. Now let me ask you this: do you think you were close?
No.
No, we don't know where that other ace was. It could have been anywhere. Now it might have appeared like you got that on the first reel, and then this might have appeared right above the line on both of them. But the machine didn't do it on purpose. That's where it happened to land, because there's only 22 places that our machine can possibly go. But obviously I got a lot more than 22 options to choose from.
So what you would say is like basically, like it only has 22 symbols or 22 options on the reel, but actually the actual like RNG combination could be like a complete difference. It could be stopped between the 7 and the bar, or it could be stopped between the triple diamond and the triple bar. And that's a different combination entirely.
Yep, exactly. Correct. So all of our blanks are just, randomly placed out because we got a lot of blanks on here. We got a lot more than those other blank stops on the reel.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead, just tell me to stop whenever.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can get you a winning combination.
Right, something.
Maybe get that ace, king.
That'd be cool, or just all aces would be fun.
Or 3 aces. It's possible.
It is possible. Everything's possible.
Everything is possible in the world of the casino. It's just not probable.
No.
It doesn't mean it. All right. All right. Oh, hey, we got a 7. We got a blank. We got a blank. Damn it. All right.
7 popped up.
Well, this is kind of fun. It's just you know, we talk about this example a lot of the 52 deck of cards, but, you know, we rarely have actually shown, you know, shown it basically in real time. So this is kind of fun.
Oh, yeah,
you know, actually
absolutely.
getting to show what the slot machine is doing. And really the slot machine is just super simple, but the casino is always going to make money in the end because there's more blanks. Even if you were to get ace, ace, ace and get the top line jackpot, in the life of the machine, the casino is still going to make a whole lot more money. They're going to make that back and then some because, again, there's more blanks than anything.
Oh yeah. Doesn't matter if you hit the triple back to back to back to back. Eventually, it's gonna get to its other place, but it won't be in your lifetime. You won't ever see it again. Most likely.
You could get it back to back.
Oh yeah,
it's
you
possible.
could. Yeah,
I mean,
I've heard of it.
everything is possible.
Oh yeah, anything is
I think
possible.
I saw one lady actually get it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is possible. It does happen. It's just
yeah.
very, very rare and very hard. Oh, let me ask you this. So if you were to choose a game,
Yeah.
let's just say all of the games are, let's just say 98% payback. 98% payback. But you get to pick between playing a game like this, where it's equal weight 52, 52, 52, or you can play a game where it's 5,000, 50,000, 20,000. Which game would you pick?
I'm gonna pick the 52, 52, 52. I want that better odds. I want to have every best chance I can to win.
Exactly, and that's basically volatility. That's what we talk about all the time is volatility and the payback percentage. They do work together a little bit, but the volatility is the way more important thing that you, the player, can actually determine. Because when you look at a game like Triple Diamond, obviously we can look at the pay table on Triple Diamond to determine the volatility of the game. And the volatility is how the game is programmed. Essentially, how big are these theoretical deck of cards? So, easiest way to determine volatility on any machine is you look at the bet amount in relation and comparison to the top line award of that machine. So, for example, we can look at Cherry's Jubilee. Cherry's Jubilee, it's a $3 max bet, but the most you can win is that 1,000 and change progressive. That's a pretty small gap.
Oh yeah.
What that tells me is that that game is pretty much exactly like this, 52, 52, 52. It's an equal weight, and it's a low in volatility game. Could you lose? Absolutely you can, because it's still a slot machine, it's still shuffling, but you have a much greater chance. Now we look at Megabucks, complete opposite. Say $3 bet, but a $10 million progressive. That tells me that these decks are sky high. They're sky high. That's what that tells me. So go ahead, tell me stop whenever.
All right, we'll stop it right
All
there.
right, we got a blank. Damn it. Ah, okay, we got something. Ah, well,
That's not.
you got nothing.
So a blank,
A blank, and then we have our
double
seven,
bar, 7 and double bar.
7 and double bar.
So it wouldn't have mattered if I had anything
Yeah,
on that
it
first row
wouldn't have
anyways.
mattered. So anyway, guys, I hope that this example was kind of able to help you see a little bit more just how slot machines exactly operate, how is a slot machine both random and what is the control aspect. Obviously, we used a deck of cards for our example today. It's the easiest example that we can possibly think of. So, is it random? Yes, in the aspect that the machine doesn't know and the player doesn't know what's coming next, nor does the machine account for what has happened in the past or predict what is going to happen in the future. All the machine is doing is sitting there and just cycling through. That's all the random number generator is doing. The only time that a stop is pulled is when the player pushes that spin button to start the spinning of the reels. Are slot machines rigged? No, they're just very, very good at their job. They are just randomizers. That's all they are. Rigged would be that it is not possible, but it's advertised that it's possible. That is what the definition of rigged would be. This is just weighted. It's weighted more towards those lower options, but those higher options are still a possibility. And I hope that also through our example today, you were able to see a little bit about the differences between a low volatile game and a high volatile game, and exactly kind of a more picture reference in your mind of what that would look like. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to stay notified, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching. Check out these other videos and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more slot tips. It's always free. Visit ropethejackpot.com for free guides and a whole lot more. Catch you on the next episode.